Throughout WWE history, black wrestlers have made their mark not only with talent and strength, but with resilience in the face of prejudice and barriers. From trailblazing pioneers to modern-day superstars, they've helped reshape the landscape of sports entertainment. In today's video, Wrestling Sphere takes a look back at the greatest names, those who have been inducted into the WWE Hall of Fame as a testament to their lasting legacy. Bobo Brazil, a trailblazing icon for black wrestlers. When talking about pioneers in professional wrestling, one name that can't be overlooked is Bobo Brazil. He wasn't just a phenomenal in-ring performer, he was a quiet warrior behind the scenes, helping to break down racial barriers in one of the most conservative and segregated industries in America. Bobo Brazil entered professional wrestling in the 1950s, a time when the idea of a black man competing equally against white opponents was almost unthinkable. But Bobo never backed down. With his towering frame, incredible power, and unshakable resolve, he quickly forced audiences to rethink their perceptions. He competed across multiple territories, faced off with top legends, and captured dozens of championships in promotions all across the U.S. More importantly, Bobo Brazil was the first black wrestler to break the color line in wrestling, when he was allowed to wrestle white opponents in the same ring, at a time when society was still deeply divided by racism. That made him more than just a great wrestler. He became a cultural figure, a symbol of resistance, courage, and progress. In 1994, WWE officially inducted him into the Hall of Fame, recognizing the man who paved the way for countless black wrestlers to follow. Bobo Brazil wasn't just a pioneer, he was a legacy. Junkyard Dog, the irreplaceable fan favorite. In the early days of WrestleMania, when WWE was still carving out its identity and searching for stars who could capture mainstream attention, Junkyard Dog, also known as JYD, emerged as a true phenomenon. He wasn't just a powerful wrestler, he was a cultural icon who brought infectious energy and built a deep connection with fans of all ages and backgrounds. JYD stood out with his muscular build, straightforward but impactful wrestling style, and relentless fighting spirit. But what truly made him a star went beyond the ring. With a thick chain around his neck, a commanding presence, and a mix of strength and charm, Junkyard Dog had a unique charisma. Fans didn't just admire him for his in-ring skills, they loved him because he made them believe that sincerity and courage could still win. At a time when racial prejudice remained a significant societal hurdle, JYD was one of the few black wrestlers who gained widespread support from white audiences in the southern U.S., something incredibly rare during that era. He helped expand the definition of a WWE superstar, proving that star power isn't about skin color, but about heart and genuine connection. In 2004, WWE inducted Junkyard Dog into the Hall of Fame, an acknowledgement of a warrior who captured fans' hearts with raw authenticity and unwavering belief every time he stepped into the ring. Tony Atlas, the muscular powerhouse who made WWE history. Tony Atlas wasn't just a familiar face to wrestling fans of the 1980s. He was part of one of the most groundbreaking moments in WWE history. With a sculpted physique, bulging muscles, and extraordinary strength, Atlas perfectly embodied the image of a wrestling superhero in the eyes of fans. The defining moment of his career came in 1983, when he and Rocky Johnson, father of The Rock, became the first black tag team to win the WWE World Tag Team Championship. This wasn't just a personal achievement, it was a historic milestone for the black community in sports entertainment, proving that dedication and talent could break through even the most stubborn of prejudices. Outside the ring, Tony Atlas also stood out as one of the first wrestlers to come from a professional bodybuilding background. Nicknamed Mr. USA in bodybuilding competitions, he brought a powerful and inspiring image to the wrestling world. Throughout his career, he wrestled in numerous promotions, weathered ups and downs, but never lost his passion for the craft or the respect of his peers. In 2006, WWE honored Tony Atlas by inducting him into the Hall of Fame, a well-deserved recognition for a man who used both his physical prowess and indomitable spirit to elevate the presence and image of black wrestlers in WWE. Shad Gaspard, a real-life hero beyond the ring. Shad Gaspard may not have held championship gold in WWE, but he did something few champions ever could. He left a profound impact on fans through a heroic act that transcended wrestling. As one half of the tag team Crime Time, Shad stood out with his fun-loving, energetic style and magnetic charisma. Though never the center of major storylines, he consistently brought a sense of authenticity and warmth every time he appeared. But the moment that made Shad Gaspard's name eternal didn't happen in the ring, it happened on a beach. In May 2020, caught in a dangerous rip current, Shad instructed lifeguards to save his son first, fully aware that he might not survive. He didn't. The brave father sacrificed his life so his child could live, a story that shook the entire WWE community and the wider sports world. In 2022, WWE honored Shad Gaspard with the prestigious Warrior Award, an accolade reserved not for in-ring accomplishments, but for extraordinary courage, strength of character, and unwavering spirit. Shad's actions redefined what it means to be a hero. Though he's no longer with us, the legacy he left behind, the legacy of a father, a protector, a true warrior, will forever live on in the hearts of all who were touched by his sacrifice. Ron Simmons, a barrier-breaking icon and true symbol of strength. Ron Simmons isn't just another name among legends. He's living proof that there are no limits for those bold enough to dream big and fight hard. Over a decades-long career, Simmons achieved what few believed possible at the time, becoming the first black world heavyweight champion in professional wrestling history. That historic moment came in 1992, when he captured the WCW World Heavyweight Championship. It wasn't just a personal triumph, it was a defining milestone that opened doors for generations of black wrestlers to follow. Ron Simmons proved that greatness isn't defined by skin color. It's built on resilience, talent, and heart. His legacy didn't stop with WCW. Simmons made a powerful impact in WWE as one half of the APA, alongside Bradshaw. With his no-nonsense attitude, brute strength, and deadpan delivery, he became a fan favorite during the Attitude Era. Sometimes, all it took was a single word, "damn," to bring the house down. Simple, yet unforgettable. In 2012, WWE inducted Ron Simmons into the Hall of Fame, an acknowledgement of everything he accomplished, from changing perceptions to becoming a cultural staple in WWE. For him, wrestling wasn't just a job, it was a way to break boundaries, not just for himself, but for an entire community. Booker T, from the bottom to the Hall of Fame. Booker T isn't just a legend. He's a living symbol of resilience and the power of rising above adversity. Born into hardship and once caught up in a life of crime, few could have predicted that this young man would go on to become one of the most celebrated black wrestlers in history. With a sculpted physique, incredible agility, and sharp technical skills, Booker T won over fans wherever he performed. From WCW to WWE, he captured a total of 6 world championships, making him one of the most successful black world champions of all time. His in-ring style was a dynamic blend of strength, flexibility, and fiery intensity. No one can forget his electrifying spinneroonie or the fierce determination on his face every time he stepped into the ring. Beyond his solo success, Booker T joined forces with his brother Stevie Ray to form Harlem Heat, one of the most dominant tag teams in WCW history. Together, they won the tag team titles 10 times, setting a record unmatched by any black team to this day. WWE's recognition was inevitable. In 2013, Booker T was inducted into the Hall of Fame as a singles competitor. Then in 2019, he was inducted once again alongside Harlem Heat, an honor achieved by only a select few. Booker T isn't just a champion. He's an inspiration, proving that where you start doesn't define you, but how far you rise does. The Godfather, the wild soul of the Attitude Era. During WWE's wildest and most rebellious period, the Attitude Era, no one brought more fun, energy, and unapologetic flair than the Godfather. Known off-screen as Charles Wright, he portrayed several personas throughout his career, but it was his turn as the cigar-smoking, pimp-walking party king with his iconic lady train that made him one of WWE's most unforgettable characters. With his flashy outfits, confident strut, cigar in hand, and signature smirk, the Godfather was unlike anyone else. He didn't need fancy promos or complex moves. His mere presence lit up arenas. And when the bell rang, he never hesitated to throw down with anyone bold enough to challenge him. What made the Godfather so magnetic was his blend of entertainment and unmistakable personality. He may not have collected a long list of championships, but his role in shaping the Attitude Era was undeniable. In a time when rebellion, freedom, and individuality were front and center, the Godfather was a perfect fit. In 2016, WWE inducted the Godfather into the Hall of Fame, not for titles, but for the lasting impact he had on the culture of pro wrestling. He wasn't just a character, he was a whole vibe. And in the hearts of fans, one familiar chant will always echo. All aboard the Who Train. Teddy Long, legendary manager and a symbol of uniqueness. In a world where power often belongs to the strongest voices, Teddy Long carved out his place with a signature blend of wit, charisma, and unforgettable flair. He may not have been a wrestler, but he became one of the most beloved authority figures in WWE history. Teddy Long began his career as a referee before transitioning into a manager, eventually becoming the first black general manager of SmackDown. He played a key role in the success of several iconic tag teams, including Doom, APA, and MNM. With his ability to turn even the most tense moments into top-tier entertainment, Teddy quickly became a fan favorite and a staple of weekly WWE programming. One of his most iconic trademarks was the spontaneous tag team match, playa moments, unpredictable and hilarious segments that fans eagerly anticipated every time he walked out with a mic in hand. Without shouting or throwing punches, Teddy ran the show with charm, fairness, and natural stage presence, something few authority figures could match. In 2017, WWE inducted Teddy Long into the Hall of Fame, recognizing his decades-long contribution to the business. Teddy wasn't just a supporting character. He redefined what it meant to be a general manager and made that role an unforgettable part of the WWE experience. Mark Henry, pure power and unbreakable will. Mark Henry was more than just a giant in the ring. He was the embodiment of determination, perseverance, and constant growth. Known as the world's strongest man, Henry was one of the rare athletes to bridge elite competitive sports and high-level sports entertainment. From the Olympics to WWE, he carried pride and the heart of a warrior wherever he went. Before wrestling, Mark Henry was a world-class powerlifter who represented the United States at the Olympics and broke national strength records. But when he entered WWE, he didn't just bring brute force, he became a character. With his massive frame and explosive power, Henry was a true threat to anyone who stood across from him. Fans still remember the jaw-dropping moment he collapsed the ring in a match with Big Show, a legendary highlight in WWE history. In 2011, Mark Henry finally captured the WWE World Heavyweight Championship, reaching the peak of a journey filled with setbacks, doubters, and tough battles. But he silenced all critics through sheer will and proved he was more than worthy of that top spot. In 2018, Mark Henry was inducted into the WWE Hall of Fame, honoring a career built on strength, grit, and inspiration. He wasn't just the strongest man in the world. He was a symbol of what it means to overcome every obstacle with heart and resolve. Dvon Dudley, the indispensable half of a tag team dynasty. Dvon Dudley wasn't just part of a tag team. He was the heart and soul of the Dudley Boys, widely regarded as the most iconic and decorated duo in WWE history. Alongside his partner Bubba Ray, Dvon helped define an era of tag team wrestling with a style that was intense, daring, and wildly unpredictable. From ECW to WWE, Dvon's journey was filled with explosive moments. Fans will never forget the legendary tables, ladders, and chairs, TLC matches, where the Dudley Boys, Edge and Christian, and the Hardy Boys created some of the most unforgettable scenes in wrestling history. Dvon was always on the front line, fearlessly putting his body on the line to deliver jaw-dropping performances. What set Dvon apart wasn't just his skill, it was his unwavering fighting spirit. He brought a perfect blend of power, agility, and seamless teamwork. And of course, the iconic phrase, "Dvon, get the tables," has become a timeless part of WWE lore, forever linked to his name whenever the crowd demanded mayhem. In 2018, Dvon and Bubba Ray were inducted into the WWE Hall of Fame, a tribute to their undeniable legacy as one of the greatest tag teams of all time. For Dvon, every time he stepped into the ring, he brought with him a spirit of total commitment, a passion that etched his name into the hearts of fans around the world. Rocky Johnson, a trailblazer who lit the way for future generations. Before the world came to know The Rock, there was Rocky Johnson, his father, mentor, and one of the first black icons to make a lasting mark in WWE. With a powerful physique, fast-paced wrestling style, and a natural confidence in every step he took, Rocky quickly stood out among the early WWE roster. He played a key role in a historic moment in 1983, teaming with Tony Atlas to become the first black tag team to win the WWE World Tag Team Championship. That victory wasn't just about gold. It symbolized a breakthrough during a time when racial barriers still lingered in sports entertainment. Rocky Johnson wasn't just muscle and strength. He was known for his lightning-fast punches, agile movement rarely seen in heavyweights of that era, and the charisma of a true crowd puller. Inside the ring, he was a fierce competitor. Outside of it, he was a dedicated father who taught his son, Dwayne Johnson, the values of hard work, perseverance, and pride. In 2008, WWE honored Rocky Johnson with a Hall of Fame induction, recognizing not only his talent but also the inspiring path he carved for others to follow. For Rocky, wrestling was more than a career, it was a mission to inspire those who came after him. Queen Charal, the regal presence behind the curtain and on the screen. Charal may not have been a weekly in-ring competitor, but her presence on WWE television was anything but forgettable. A former beauty queen with a background in the performing arts, she entered the world of wrestling with elegance, intelligence, and undeniable poise. She didn't need punches or slams to stand out. Her commanding presence and masterful performance skills were her greatest weapons. As the wife of Booker T, Charal was a constant by his side, especially during his transformation into King Booker. In her role as queen, she fully embodied the character, from her voice and expressions to her every calculated gesture. Charal not only elevated Booker's on-screen persona, making him feel more dangerous and refined, but helped create one of the most memorable royal duos WWE has ever seen. Beyond television, she was also Booker T's unwavering support system in real life, helping shape his image and standing behind his rise in the industry. Charal never needed personal glory to prove her worth, because she herself was a source of inspiration to countless women who dreamed of stepping into the world of WWE. In 2022, WWE inducted Queen Charal into the Hall of Fame, honoring her quiet yet essential contributions to Booker T's legacy and to one of WWE's most vibrant eras. Queen Charal wasn't just a title, it was a statement. And her legacy remains a distinct and elegant chapter in WWE history. Ernie Lad, the towering trailblazer who broke new ground. Before stepping into a WWE ring, Ernie Lad was already a standout star in professional football, dominating the NFL with his massive frame and surprising agility for someone over 6 feet 9 inches. But Lad didn't stop on the gridiron. When he transitioned to pro wrestling, he brought with him strength, charisma, and a fearless drive to do things differently. Nicknamed the Big Cat, Ernie Lad quickly made waves with his stoic in-ring style, sharp-tongued promos, and the ability to provoke strong reactions from fans. He was one of the first black wrestlers to consistently headline main events, an extremely rare feat during a time when racial discrimination still cast a long shadow over wrestling across the U.S. More than just a top performer, Lad was one of the first black figures in wrestling to speak out boldly about fairness, equal opportunity, and backstage treatment. He championed the rights of black wrestlers to be treated with dignity and to receive the same chances as their white counterparts, both in the spotlight and behind the scenes. In 1995, WWE inducted Ernie Lad into the Hall of Fame, not just for his in-ring accomplishments, but as a tribute to a man who helped shape a more just and inclusive path for future generations. For Ernie Lad, the impact he made extended far beyond any ring. His legacy was about change, courage, and carving out space where others were once denied. Kamala, the mysterious giant and unforgettable character of an era. He never held a major WWE title, but Kamala remains one of the most iconic and unique characters of the 1980s and 1990s. With his massive frame, tribal face and body paint, and wild, untamed energy, Kamala was unlike anyone else who ever stepped foot in a WWE ring. He didn't need to speak or cut promos. His intense stare and the echo of tribal drums as he made his entrance were more than enough to command attention. Though not always featured in the main event, Kamala was often placed in high-profile matchups, sharing the ring with legends like Hulk Hogan, The Undertaker, and Andre the Giant. These bouts weren't just matches, they were spectacles, essential pieces of an era when character, mystique, and pageantry defined wrestling's golden age. What set Kamala apart was his total commitment to his character. No dialogue, no gimmicky promos, yet he captivated fans with fear, curiosity, and presence. At a time when opportunities for black performers were limited, Kamala still managed to carve out a place for himself through sheer creativity and performance. In 2020, WWE honored Kamala through the legacy wing of the Hall of Fame, recognizing his contribution to the color, variety, and evolution of wrestling's most theatrical era. He may not have been a champion, but Kamala was, and still is, an unforgettable part of wrestling history that lives on in the memories of generations of fans. The Rock, WWE Hall of Fame's uncrowned legend. As of 2025, The Rock has yet to be officially inducted into the WWE Hall of Fame, but no one doubts that it's only a matter of time. Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson is not just one of the greatest superstars in WWE history. He's a global icon whose influence extends far beyond the squared circle, embodying success, charisma, and determination. He began his career as a young up-and-comer who was initially booed by fans, but soon transformed into the People's Champ, a character defined by swagger, wit, and unmatched mic skills. Every time The Rock stepped into the arena, fans held their breath, eagerly awaiting his electrifying catchphrases and fiery matches. With multiple world championships and legendary rivalries against the likes of Stone Cold Steve Austin, Triple H, and John Cena, The Rock was a cornerstone of the Attitude Era and a driving force behind WWE's global expansion. Even after transitioning into a full-time Hollywood star, he never let go of his connection to WWE, remaining a beloved figure in the eyes of fans. The fact that The Rock hasn't yet been inducted only builds anticipation. And when it finally happens, his Hall of Fame induction is sure to be one of the most spectacular and emotional ceremonies ever seen. Because The Rock isn't just a wrestler, he's a living legend. Thank you for watching until the end of the video. If you love inspiring stories from the world of WWE, don't forget to like, share, and subscribe so you won't miss any legends in our upcoming videos.